Questions that people have been asking us on our YouTube channel and Facebook page. But before I ask you the question, I want to ask you, for how long have you been teaching English?
Thank you, Mr. Waki. Good day, viewers. As he has rightly pointed out, this is going to be an interactive session. As you have known, we have been teaching on Facebook and YouTube channel on use of English. Based on this question, I would say I started teaching English language as far back as 1993 when I graduated from secondary school. I saw that I had the flair for teaching, and I took it upon myself to educate people around me, and since then I've been in the field of teaching even after my university. So it has been a long time. It has been a long time I started teaching this language. Basically, when I graduated from the university, I continued teaching, and it has been part of me. So it has been long. It has been a very long time I started teaching English language.
Yeah. Considering the way you break the English language to its simplest form, I love the way you teach a lot.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Now, we have a lot of questions here, but we take them one after the other. And we have about 200 and something questions to be asked. And I hope you answer them all.
Yes, I'm ready.
But today we are going to take few of them.
Okay.
Now, I have number one question for you. The question says, considering your teaching on the introduction to English language into Nigeria, you mentioned that a variety of English language called Nigeria English. Please illustrate more. Now this question is being asked by Sade Ayodele from Lagos. I'm trying to understand the question. He said, considering your teaching on the introduction to English language into Nigeria, you mentioned that there is a variety of English language called Nigeria English. Okay, please illustrate more on that.
Thank you, Ayodele. It's been my pleasure to be with you. And in the introductory part of this series, I told us that there are different varieties of English language. I also made mention of some of them. I said we have what we call the standard British English, which we see as a yardstick. In fact, it is the mother of all varieties of English language we speak today in the world. I also mentioned that we have what we call American English. And in addition, I also mentioned we have the one we call the Nigerian English, which I think he's asking of. Nigerian English is a hybrid. It is a variety of English language which is used mainly by those of us in this part of the world, in Nigeria. Most of the expressions we have in Nigerian English are transliterations rather than translations. When we transliterate our language into English without observing the rules of the language we are going into, that's the second one, that's English. We call some varieties Nigerian English. Now let me give you an illustration. In Nigeria, you see, sometimes people will say, if you go to the market, is a common expression that market women use. It says, since morning I have not sold market. Since morning I have not sold market. Now, if you say that, you find out that the woman that is making such an expression is referring market to the ware she's selling, the product she's selling. While market is supposed to be the place where we sell, but she's seeing a market there as the ware, as those products she's selling. So she now says, I have not sold market since morning. So you see that expression, although in Nigeria we'll accept it as an expression, but an English expression, but in the right sense of it, the Englishman will laugh at us when we just say, I have not sold market, as if what you're selling is that place you sell. We know that market is the environment, that particular location where those products are sold, not the product that we sell. But here we take it to be the product we sell. So that's an example. Now, it's also there are also some expressions that told the same line. For instance, if an Igbo man wants to make an expression in English, he usually transfer the Igbo language or Igbo expression into English without checking whether it rhymes with the grammar of English. For instance, an Igbo man will say, I'm coming while he's going. So as somebody is going, he will tell you, I'm coming. You find out that somebody cannot be going and coming at the same time. So that is also a variety. That's a kind of English we call Nigerian English. Now, if you come on the use of words also, there are some words we use here in English which are not supposed to be. For instance, here we usually say market square. If you find out market square is not an English word, but it's just a coinage you make here. Market square, I saw him at the market square, while it should be at the marketplace. Things like that. Here we always also, you see somebody who will say, please driver, stop me, or driver, I want to drop, as if he would drop as a bomb. So nobody can drop from a vehicle. If you drop, you will definitely injure yourself. But in this part of the world, if we say, I want to drop, the driver will understand you and stop the vehicle, you get down. Rather, we should say, I want to alight. So you now see that if you say, I want to alight, a driver in Nigeria, this part of the world, definitely he may not be able to understand what you're saying until you say, I want to stop. So it is now common for us to say, I want to stop, which we also call a Nigerian English expression. So there are a lot of them. Time will not permit me to go on and on to tell us some expressions here that are Nigerian, under Nigerian English.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jessica, for answering that question.
Okay.
The second question, like I said, I will go straight to asking you the question, because if I begin to ask you my own personal question, we will not go here today. The second question I have for you is Chigozrin from Ghana. Now, Chigozrin from Ghana is saying, in your teaching on figures of speech, you said that both oxymoron and paradox are both figures of contradiction. What are their major differences?
All right. Chigozrim, thank you also. I believe you might be from this part of the world, or you're in Ghana, or texting from Ghana. Thank you. Now, we have a lot of figures of speech. As I was treating that topic, I made it very clear that oxymoron and paradox are figures of contradiction. What do you mean by contradiction? They confuse. Why are they like that? Both of them make use of contradictory statements or contradictory words. In the surface, they sound very stupid, but underneath, they are very, very intelligent. Now, you see, in oxymoron, let's start with oxymoron. Oxymoron makes use of two opposite words placed side by side in the same expression. Here we have things like he is a wise fool, placed side by side in one statement. But it's not like that in paradox. In paradox makes use of two opposite statements. Remember I said oxymoron makes use of two opposite words placed side by side in one statement. But paradox makes use of two opposite statements placed side by side in one expression. Now let's have an example of that. If one says, to die is to live. To die is to live. You find out that these two statements are in one expression, but they contradict. One cannot live and also die at the same time. So you now see that paradox is contradictory. Oxymoron is also contradictory. The only difference is that oxymoron makes use of contradictory words. That's two opposite words. While paradox makes use of two opposite statements in one expression. So that's the major reason in the two figures of speech.
Okay, thank you. And the third question is coming from Emeka. Emeka Okoro from Enugu.
Okay.
He says, the question says, on your teachings on articles, you've taught articles?
Yes, I've taught articles in the preceding series.
On your teachings on articles, I did not understand why one should say a European instead of an European. Even myself, I don't understand why I should say a European instead of European. And European sounds more simple and very sweet.
All right, Mr. Lucky. Now, you see, this question has been coming up and coming up even when I teach students in classrooms. They will always get started when I say a European instead of an European. Now, the reason is very simple. You see, the use of articles a, an, and they usually depends on the sound that begins a particular word. When I was treating articles, I said that what the article you use before a word is determined by the sound that begins that word. Now, we know that in English language we have about 44 sounds, 20 are vowels and 24 are consonants. Now, the beginning of a word, when a word has a consonant sound at its beginning, then that word will be preceded by a. But if a word has a vowel sound as its preceding sound, that word will be produced by an as an article. But remember we said that they introduced both the ones that begin with vowels and the ones that begin with consonants. Now the only thing that made us to say a European is that the word European that word is European, not European. Now, we usually make mistake of saying European, and if you say European, you are beginning the word with a vowel E sound, and that is why people are tempted to say an European. But the right pronunciation of that word is European, European, and the yes sound is a consonant sound. So if yes sound is a consonant sound, just as we have a yam, we have a you can't say an yam tuber, but you say a yam tuber. The same sound that begins yam is the sound that begins European. So if you look at it very well, you now find out that yes sound is consonant, therefore the word European should also be preceded by article a. That is why we say a European and not an European. That's why it's like that.
Okay, now I know where the problem is coming from.
Yes.
From the sound.
The sound.
A lot of people don't know the sound of, like you said,
European, yes.
People pronounce it as
European, and they'll be tempted to say an European.
And European.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The fourth question, like I have about seven questions to ask you on this episode.
Okay.
Subsequently, we are going to ask you a lot of questions based on the questions people have been asking on the page. We have our Facebook page as High Flyers Academy, and our YouTube channel as Lucky High Flyers Academy. So you can visit any of the sites to ask questions, and definitely we are going to answer you anytime something is opportune. So the fourth question says, this person, Ozona from Owerri, says, "Sir, what is the difference between the use of tired as in T-I-R-E-D, tired, and weak, W-E-A-K?
Right.
What is the difference between them?"
Yes, this is a very intelligent question. Now, I know that before now, people have been using these two words interchangeably. So we say, I am tired, and some people here they say, I'm weak. They think that both words have the same meaning, but they are not having the same meaning. Therefore, we shouldn't use them interchangeably, although they have a close meaning. We can't say they are synonymous. Now, the word tired is an English word that suggests exhaustion of energy. When somebody has been engaged in a stressful activity that has to take some energy from the body, the person is meant to be tired, which means it has to do with exhaustion of energy at a particular time. And that is why when somebody is doing any manual labor, any manual job, and at a time gets tired, the person goes to rest. And after the rest, the person comes back to work again, because the body has a way to replenish the energy that is lost during work. So when the energy is exhausted, somebody will say, I am tired. But it's different from saying I'm weak. Weakness is not as a result of exhaustion of energy in the body system. Rather, weakness is as a result of breakdown in the body system, which may be caused as a result of illness or sickness or malady. So weakness is not tiredness. Weakness suggests breakdown in health, while tiredness suggests exhaustion of energy. So both of them are very different. Thank you.
So that is the difference between tired and weak.
Weak, yeah.
So when I say I'm tired, it means I've exhausted my energy.
Yes, it doesn't necessarily mean you are sick or you are ill.
When I'm saying I'm weak, means
The body system has broken down. It has a problem. There's a problem in the system. Yes. Tiredness does not suggest problem in the system, but weakness suggests problem in the system. Yes.
Thank you. Welcome. I have the fifth question. And the question says, with reference to Concord.
Okay.
Yes, I noticed that even with Concord and agreement. Now somebody was asking on our Facebook page that if Concord means agreement, why should we be teaching the topic as Concord and agreement? Why not Concord?
All right. The question is an intelligent one, but you see, when you have two words coming together, no two words in English language have the same meaning, but they may be synonymous. So concord suggests agreement, but that does not mean that concord means agreement. Now, when you have two words, when you have agreement of words, you see, when a particular word and another agree, the agreement is as a result of the concord. So two cannot work together unless they agree. That's what the Bible says. So before two words agree, they must have had concord. So you now see that choice of words, when you choose two words that have that relate, we are talking of concord. But when they agree in an expression you have used them, you're not talking of agreement. So that's why we use two of them at the same time, concord and agreement. That means words that have a close relationship and the agreement in an expression.
Okay, the fifth question. Person says, with reference to concord and agreement, one can say he has some food to eat, but can't say I has some food to eat. He has some food to eat, but can't say I has some food to eat. Okay. Why? Since both he and I are singular subjects.
Okay. Yes. One thing I wanted to know, who asked that question from where? Did you get that question?
Zama from Uganda.
Okay, from Uganda. All right. Zama, one thing I want you to understand is that language is not a logic. Rather, language is a dogma. You don't bring in logic to language because there are some laws that have been set aside by the owners of that language which you must obey without questioning. Of course, we know that logic is something that has evidence, reason, but dogma is something that has been given to you to accept. You don't need to ask more questions. Now, the reason is this. If we follow it logically, definitely we'll say that when somebody says he has some food to eat, that person should also say, I have some food to eat. But it's not like that. Now, look at it. The rule of concord says that the first person pronoun is, that is, when we use first person pronoun, I or you, that they must go with plural verbs. That's why I say I have, you have, I eat, you eat, I dance, you dance. You can't say I dances, you can't say you dances. But the rule also says that when the first person pronoun is in singular, the verb will also be in singular. Now, he said he eats, he dances, he runs. Although he is singular, I is singular, but he will go with singular verb, while I will go with plural verb, according to the rule of concord. So, whenever you're using I, don't see I as singular, that you are going to use singular verb. No, see I as plural, and it will go with plural verb. That's why we say I have, while he is singular subject and must go with singular verb all the time. All right, that's it.
Okay. Even ordinarily, I can't say I has.
Good.
It sounds somehow.
It sounds somehow in the mouth.
Say I has.
Yes.
Rather, I have is more pronounced.
Yes, it's better.
Now, another question is coming from the Concord and Agreement.
Okay.
The sixth question, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In Concord and Agreement, the question says, in Concord and Agreement, you said it is correct to say, give her her book, but wrong to say, give him in book. Why?
All right. I know that really somebody hears give her her book. It sounds ding dong, and the person will be expecting to say here, give him his book. Because as he said, ha ha, here, him, but it's not like that. Now, the reason is this. We can say give her her book and it's perfectly correct grammatically. The reason is that in the use of first person pronoun feminine, that is she or her is used in possessive case and also used in objective case, while she is used in subjective case. Let me repeat myself. I said, in the use of first person pronoun feminine, she is used in subjective case. That is when the person is performing. She came, she ran. But her is used in objective case. That means when the person is receiving. I gave her, I slapped her. Now, the same her is used in possessive case. It is her book. It is her family. This is her father. Now, because of that, in that statement, give her her book. The first her is serving as second person pronoun in objective case, while the other her is serving as second person pronoun feminine in possessive case. So the first one and the second one are not doing the same function, although they are in they appear the same way. So give her her book. First her, objective case. Second her, possessive case. But when you come to the masculine, where we have he and him, we know that he is used in the subjective case. He came, he ran, he ate. Then the objective case of that particular word is him. But him is not the possessive case of it. Now you can say give him his book. Now him is the third person masculine gender, while him is the possessive of it. So what him is doing in this statement is what her is doing in the other statement. So it is perfect to say give her her book, but it's not correct to say give him his book. Rather, we should say give him his book, because him is the objective case of he, while his is the possessive case of he. That is why it is like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Before I ask you the last question for the day, for this episode, I would like you to introduce the topic you have for today, for this episode of today, because I realize that your episodes comes every Mondays and Fridays, 2 times a week, and we upload it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, what topic do you have for your viewers today?
Yes. Although in the last teaching I did not conclude Concord and Agreement, but I've already done that on our YouTube channel. So if you subscribe or you have already subscribed, definitely you will see the concluding part of the Concord and Agreement, which I said is very, very important for speakers of English language, especially in this part of the world. It gives us a very clear basis of the language. So we need to go and find out the concluding part. I think I talked about 12 rules in that particular series to conclude that topic. Today, definitely I'm going to dwell on question tags, which some of my fans have been asking me to give a very clear teaching on, and I'm going to give you a very clear and sound teaching on question tags, how to make use of these question tags, how to respond to them, and all the rest. And even if not for exam, those of us that are going to have be part of that particular teaching will know how to answer questions even when you are asked. particular question, you know the right question to, or the right way to respond to it. So I'm going to teach a question tag today.
Question tag.
Yeah.
For today. Okay. Well, if I may ask, what is a question tag? You know, some of us who don't speak fluently, you know, we are not into English now. Some of us are into sciences.
Yeah.
If you watch a lot of science students, they are based on calculation.
Definitely, they are not grammarians.
Yes.
They are not grammarians.
I'm a science student.
Yes.
You know, I don't speak English.
Yeah, they're trying.
So what is this question that we're talking about?
Yeah.
Is it just a question or?
No, well, it has something to do with question because it has to do with interrogation. Now, question tag simply means a declarative statement, which we call imperative statement, that is formed, that is coined into a question. And when somebody makes a statement, you coin into a question. And sometimes it assists us because when a question is asked, somebody may ask you, did you go? Sometimes you don't know what to answer. Someone may ask you, he is a man. Isn't he? You don't know what to answer. Whether you say he is or he was or what. So sometimes it baffles people. Someone asks you, he ate well, didn't he? Then you don't know what to answer. Whether you say yes, he ate or he didn't eat or whatever. So you now see confusion. So I'm going to make it clear how to respond to such questions whenever they are asked or whenever they're thrown to you. And that is what question tag is. So question tag is just about an interrogative statement that is coined from a declarative statement, which we usually call an imperative statement. That is what it is.
Okay. All right. Viewers, if you want to watch this topic of today's topic, which is question tag, you go to our little channel, Lucky High Flyers Academy, and watch it in full details. It has been treated and uploaded today. So I am going to ask you just one more question, and that will be the end for today.
All right.
Now the question is coming from. Let me check. Masisi, from Tanzania.
Masisi from Tanzania. Right.
It's a direct message to our page on YouTube, Facebook. I think the question says, do we say you and I have been friends for years? Do you say you and I have been friends for years? Or you and me have been friends for years?
My good friend, I believe you have been following up in the YouTube channel. Definitely, I think rule of Concord number 3 or thereabouts, either 3 or 4 will give you clear picture of what this is. Although this question asked, many get confused with it because I and I, sometimes you get confused with the use of I and the use of me in expressions. Now, that rule, either rule number 3 or 4 in the rule of Concord I treated, says that when somebody is mentioning others in an expression involving himself, that is involving himself with a pronoun, I or me, that the person will first mention others before involving him or herself with either I or me. Remember that I is used when you're involving yourself before the verb, that is when it is in the subjective case. While me is used when you're involving yourself after the verb, that means when it is an objective case. But the issue is this, you must mention the other person before you say, my friend and I, my father and I, my brother and I. You can actually say Samuel, James, John, and I are here. So I or me will always come at last. You must mention yourself last after you have mentioned the other group. So the right thing to say is, what did he say? What did they add there?
Do we say you and I have been friends for years, or you and me have been friends?
Okay, I've been friends for years. So the right thing to say is you and I have been friends for years, because you and I is appearing at the subject of that statement and is appearing before verb. So it's you and I. You don't say you and me, because me is the objective case of I and will not come before the verb. Then you can say they invited you and the me. But You and I are friends. You and I are friends. The only place you can use me is after the verb. They invited you and me. They called you and me. Jesus loves you and me. But you and I are loved by Jesus. So you can see the difference now. When the first person pronoun is appearing before the verb, it's I. When it crosses the verb, it's me. And when you're mentioning others alongside with yourself, you mention yourself last. So that is how it should be. So it should be you and I have been friends. You and I have been friends. That's what it is.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
That will be all for today's questions. Today it will now end the interactive section with Sir Destiny. My name is Lucky.
I am Sir Destiny, your online teacher on use of English.
Thank you. If you want to watch our videos, you go to our YouTube channel, Lucky High Flyers Academy. You subscribe and watch our videos.
Always remember to subscribe to have educating and entertaining videos on this use of English language. I promise you it's going to be very, very educating. It's going to be very, very entertaining. Watch our videos always and get informed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.